Hi, this is Jason Karanis. Welcome to Kingpin TV. Today I'm very excited to talk about a category called radar detection. I'm not talking about the old school ones that hang out on the top of your windshield underneath your rear view mirror. What I'm talking is about custom integrated radar detection. So there's several on the brands on the market, but this one today I just want to talk about the basic features of what they usually come with. So for example, the first one that we're going to be talking about actually has two sensors up front. These are called laser sensors. They look exactly like this, and they would go in front of the vehicle, and they're typically behind an open area or at least behind a mesh where you can at least get your pinky all the way through. That leaves a large enough eyes for the actual laser sensor to work correctly. They also need to be at a certain degree angle that can be no more than 2 degrees up or 2 degrees left and right, and there's a reason for this. Because as you drive down the road and the officer is shooting you at long distances, if they follow the curve of the bumper, you end up with a tunnel effect. If you like to see what we call a complete failure in the installation of that system, please check out our other video with the Ferrari called Radar Detection Fail. It will show you exactly what we're talking about. So the other great part of this integrated radar detection system is it's got a radar besides the laser, an actual radar receiver that goes in the front. This is typically hidden behind any kind of a plastic bumper cap or anything like that. The only thing that won't receive through it is the metal. Now what we like to do here at Kingpin is we take it one step further. What we try to do is put this all in an aluminum bar so we only have 2 mounting holes inside the car. We typically do that to the understructure behind the bumper cap, and we do a nut cert up in there so you only have 2 threaded bolts in there instead of putting 6 holes in your car to mount the sensors. Once that done, we know that it's level up and down and left to right. Once we pull the cables inside, then we've got a couple other components we need to look at. But before we do that, to talk about how those components tie in each other, there's one more sensor we need to talk about. At the back of the vehicle, you typically have only one sensor. That is a rear laser shifter receiver sensor. And it's very important, just like the front, to make sure that shifter gets mounted level, so it's only 2 degrees up or down. Now, there's a couple ways to mount it. The easiest way is to use the brackets that come with the sensor, or we make a custom, like here at Kingpin, we make a custom license plate bracket in 3 different variations that would hold those sensors, all the way into Frenching into a bumper if needed, if that's what the client is looking for a complete stealth system. Now once we move to the inside of the vehicle, we have kind of one last component before we talk about the controller and the display, and that's the GPS antenna. That GPS antenna typically can get mounted inside the top of the dash or the rear window, as long as you don't have any kind of metallized film or metal in front of it so it can receive the signal. What this GPS antenna does is it allows you to drive down the road, and as you're getting a signal from an officer, it'll slow down and get the right speed. Once you have the right speed, you can physically take the shifters off. The great part about this, if you happen to get pulled over, that particular sensor of this model knows once you come to a complete stop until you reach 22 miles an hour again, that it won't turn back on. So if you happen to get somebody who wants to test you while you're pulled over, it is showing that it is still off. The other great part about the GPS sensor is it filters the false alarms. And what I mean by that, you can drive past the same 7-Eleven and it sits there and it'll give you a false alarm because of the doors. Now what happens after the 4th time you pass that particular location, it has now blocked it out. It is completely quiet. But you say, what happens if there's an officer there, maybe like the 10th time that you go by there? Well, what happens, it memorizes the code and can differentiate those signals. So if that does happen, it will then alert you and tell you it's there. The last 2 components of the sensor, besides the speaker inside, is going to be the controller and the display piece. Now, these are a couple things. There's 2 ways to do it. A lot of people do what we call a peel and stick. They just take the material off and stick it to the dash somewhere on both pieces and call it a day. We particularly don't like to do that. One of our most popular features for the display is the rear view mirror. As you can see with this particular rear view mirror display, it lights up through any kind of OEM factory dimming mirror and allows to see it, but when the radar detection is off, you don't see the display at all. So just the lights are coming through it. Now the other cool part about the control piece is we French those in a lot of little license plate areas, especially in the European cars that just have a little area for that, or maybe a pocket, or like this particular piece in the overhead console where we actually flush it in the plastic by building a jig and routing that out to fit. I hope you understand radar a little bit better and see what the kind of neat features are out there in custom radar detection and interfacing with that into your vehicle. Thanks for watching this episode of Kingpin TV. Please check out our YouTube channel for other great videos, or you can always follow us on the web at kingpincaraudio.com.